Okay, so for this next exercise, I want you to do a diagram like this. So it's a circle, and you're gonna divide it into 8 sections, and then you're gonna do rings like a bullseye. So what I'm gonna have you do is, with the paint that you just created with the color mixing tutorial here, we're now gonna do an exercise on value. So value is the a way of describing the depth of color. So for example, with purple, you have lavender, which is a lighter purple, and then you have a true saturated purple. You know, with other colors like green, you'll have forest green, you'll have sage green, which everyone knows is more pastel. So it might be another way of looking at it is it's kind of looking at the true value of a color versus a pastel version of it, for example. So we're gonna just do variations of color by taking a color and doing gradations of it to see how we can mix different shades. So what I'm gonna do is ask that you pick any color you want. I'm gonna start with this kind of pretty purple that I have made here. And I'm gonna just put the pure color on the outside of one of my sections. I'm just gonna paint that in. And again, I'm using my Opus brand, Opus number 4 Legato brush today. So to that puddle of paint, I'm gonna add just a little bit of white. I'm just gonna mix that in. And I'm actually gonna obliterate the color here on purpose. You'll see why in a second. So now I've made that color lighter. I'm gonna mix it in, pick up that color and do it here. Okay. So again, I'm gonna pick up some white. Mix it. Pick up the color. Okay. And again, white. And notice I'm doing smaller circles each time when I mix. And that goes in the center. So what that shows you is for that original color, how you can change it by just adding white only to get all the different values in that particular color. So I'll just show you a few more. I'm not gonna do the whole thing, but I'll do for, let's say, another color we mixed here, this pretty forest green color. So I'm just gonna pick that up, the color itself, and put it here. Okay, and then I'm gonna add, oops, to that I'm gonna add my white. I'm gonna add it to the whole puddle of paint. Okay. And then I'm gonna do the same process again, this time making a smaller circle to get a lighter value. And last but not least, more white, smaller circle, even such. So you can see how on the palette, that's how you create different colors, okay? So when I paint, that's how I do it. So here's 2 examples of just adding white to a color. Another thing that you could do, if you wanted, is pick another color and add it to the color you already have. So I'll do an example. I'm gonna take my green I have here. I'm gonna just revive it with a bit of water, and I'm gonna paint that here. Then to that I'm gonna do yellow instead of white. Okay, so I just added yellow, and I get this. So when you add yellow, it lightens it, because yellow is a color that has less pigment density to it, but it also changes the color, right? Okay, add more yellow there again. It's becoming really like acid green now. And then again, I'll add yellow. So you can see that sort of gradation there of color. Okay. So that's kind of an interesting exercise to do. I encourage you to do this if you're just starting out painting and you want to do flowers. Let's say you're trying to do some pink flowers and you're not really sure how to make the different colors you're looking for. You can do this at the beginning to learn how to make the color, and once you've worked it out, then you can get to your painting. So this is all about value. Value is important in paintings. So a lot of people worry about mixing the right color. That was this. So yes, mixing the right color is important, but the value is important. One of the tips I'll give you is that the further away something is, the lighter it should be in your painting. The closer up, the darker. And when you look out at this beautiful view today, look at the mountains in the distance. You can see that those mountains are a lot lighter in value. If you look at where the trees are, they're almost a sage green. And if you pan over here and look at the trees that are close to me, they're actually quite a lot darker. And as the mountains go into the distance, you can tell that they're getting lighter and lighter. By the same token, if you look at the water, you'll see the same thing. So the water in the distance is lighter. So that is kind of color saturation. So that's an important point. So color saturation is important. The further away something is, the lighter